So in this section I'm going to go over counter hit combos. And the move I'm going to start with is counter hit ASB. If you land it as a counter hit, you can follow it with a back turn BAK into a combo end of your choice. Generally, you're just gonna end such combos with 4-4K because it's got a reasonable balance between damage, a little bit of AP gain, and okay for the most part. I'm not a particular fan of this move though. I feel like its only real use is to catch the opponent backstepping into a button, and one that keeps him standing for the most part as well. So, and I don't find myself in that situation very often at all, so it's limited in its use, I think. What's also limited in its use, I find, is B-hold. You get the same combos, but with even less scaling, so it does more damage overall, but I feel like the only way you're really going to get a combo off of it is if the opponent blocks the first hit, and for whatever reason accidentally presses the button before they can do anything about the second. It can... I think what it can do is after some combos, particularly after, say, lethal hit 4k into 2k, you are plus 14 there, so you can get some combos off of that, but otherwise I don't really see a use for this move at all. And I will go into her lethal hit combos in more detail in a different section. The next move I'm going to go over is 6BB. As important of a move as it is, it's extremely whiff punishable. Like, you're vulnerable to for a whole 2 seconds at least if you just let it whiff at random. So you've really got to pick your moment with it. Like, use it as a punish if you're certain that your opponent is going to block, and/or if you get your turn back after you've blocked a safe move, you could do like, you could delay a little bit and then go for it. That does catch a lot of people out. The combo you'll want to go for generally is 6BB6 and then go into AGSKK. You can do a few different enders for it. I like to do 1K personally, but you can also do 1A and 1B for different effects as well. If you're trying to go for a ring out, do keep in mind that your opponent can air control, so what would actually be better is to just hold 6 and push him off the stage that way. And I believe it's more reliable than just going for they have about the same effect. But yeah, I would only go for B if you're trying to go for a ring out to a front. I think that's the only real practical use for that particular ender. Otherwise you just go for that move. The next move I'm going to go over is 6 hold B. The one thing that I think works no matter what is a critical edge. And what I mainly use this for is after like a very shallow guard break and I'm just trying to get as much damage in as I can if I want to close out a round. So for example, if I set the opponent to guard all and I broke their guard with 2A for example, they'd recover too soon to do 3 hold B, so I might want to do 6 hold B instead, and that's what I do that for. If you happen to land the move when your opponent is near a wall, the pushback and the juggle is affected, so you can often land back turn BAK as well, and that will rejuggle into a nice damaging combo. Next move I'm going to look at is counter hit to B slide A. You are plus 12 or if that lands the counter hit, so you can land while rising K with the full hold, so you can get 2 AP afterwards. This also applies if only the last hit lands, but not if the first or the third hit lands. I'll see if I can get it. So that's something to keep in mind. Same thing applies to hold A, although... hang on. Although if you're just trying to go for approaching your opponent, there's no reason why you'd use hold A over 2BA. Next move I'm going to go over is 6k6. When 6k lands as a counter hit, you can counter hit confirm into K or even B if your reactions are good enough. But you can also transition into AGS, and A will always work, and then you can do pressure with that. Or if you just want to do a little bit more damage, then you can do AA. Again, you're -2 if it hits, so just be prepared to wrestle for your turn again if you do go for that. The next move I'm going to go for is 6BK. This can be a good move to approach with because of the range, and it also tech jumps over all sorts of weird moves. The most damaging option I find is 6 hold B. For whatever reason, I find it can either do an air hit for the last few hits, or it can hit the opponent on the ground. It's weird, and I don't know what determines how the opponent flies into it. It could depend on its timing slightly, but it's not something I've been able to solve yet. But it's still the most damaging option, and it works from all angles. Also, you can go into like air combo finishes of your choice as well, like 3BK works as well. But keep in mind, if you do land this as a counter hit and you're trying to go for a ring out, either left or right, you do have to do a slight delay for either 2BA or 6A at B. Otherwise, either this will whiff, or not all the hits will land and you won't carry the opponent to the left. So that's something to keep in mind with those. The next move I'm going to go over is 4BK. It's another sort of back sway, much like 4AA. It's slightly safer in block, with it being -12 rather than -16, but it is more linear, so the opponent is more likely to whiff punish it by stepping it, so I suppose you just kind of have to pick what you'd rather die to if it does fail. But if it counter hits, you get even more of a reward. And the combo that will always work on all characters is 6B. Hang on. 6B6 into AGSAB. Against most of the cast, 3AA works as well. But there are some characters and some angles where it won't work properly. I think it does still work on 2B in those cases, but I don't really like... Because I haven't memorized all the characters that it fails and succeeds on, I do prefer to stick to 6B mostly. Options you can also go for are Critical Edge. The scaling on this is okay, in my opinion, if you're trying to eke out as much damage both out around. And of course, because with plus 16, Soul Attack also works if you want to put your opponent under pressure. The next move I'm going to go over is a counter hit for the last hit of 2-2 AA. As you can see if I land this correct. You only get a combo of it if the last hit hits as a counter hit by itself. You are plus 12 if it lands, so you can go into any move that starts with A. I feel like her best option is hold A into hold K. But of course you can also do AAA into stance pressure, or you can do the A combo, where you can bring out your opponent to the right, or left if you're in soul charge. And generally, I find you're only really going to catch your opponent out with it if you mix up going for the hit. Because that is punishable, because that is minus 12, your opponent might want to interrupt it with an AA punish or something like that. So you may be able to catch your opponent out with the last hit and make them pay for it with a damaging combo. The next move I'm going to go over is 2-2-8-8B. Generally, I just stick to this as a whiff punish because if you don't go into the stances, it's quite unsafe. And if you do go into the stances, there are some fast enough attacks can get guaranteed punishes off it if you try to go into if you just try to go right for them. If you don't do if you don't go into the stances, you can do like the 3-hold B series. So as I said in the previous video, you can do B for maximum damage. You can press K to bring them out left. Or you can do hold A and B to make them block. They can't guard impact that while they're waking up. If you do want to go into the stance that lands as a counter hit, then you can do BA. You can also do that. And depending on the angle, you can get a soul attack as well and hold 6 for even better soul charge pressure than some other combos. Like any combo where you can juggle with a soul attack and hold 6 rather than 4, then soul charge AGSBB becomes that much more of a threat, because I think the only way to get out of it without just blocking is to roll to one side. So that's something that the opponent has to keep in mind if they try to, if you put them under that pressure. If you go into backs where you can get slightly different combos, because you'd be hitting AGSAB at tip range. So back turn B at K will usually work depending on the angle. And then you can do a combo of your choice like 4-4K. I'm going to go into the combos for my stances now. I've mentioned the second hit of AGSKK before, but if this catches as a counter hit, then all the same combos apply with a combo end of your choice. What also works is, as a counter hit, is ALK. You are plus 14 if it lands, and they are minus 8. You gain 2 AP, and they are back turns, so they may have to worry about back throws as well. The next move I will go over is a counter hit Angler Stance B hold. If you hold the button, you will go back into the stance, and then you can pick them up with either 4K, K, or 6K, depending on how far away they are. And you can combo into 6K into various things. I personally like to go for 6 hold K, and that will gain you 2 AP. If you want to push the opponent away again, then you can do 6KB. I believe her most damaging option is 3AA into 1A. And I think that's it for our counter hit combos.